Army Band. The platoon of recruits consists of 26 recruits. Formed in 2 ranks, dressed in open order, ready and with your instruction. With your Excellency, please respect the parade.
Your Excellency, Charles Sovereign, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Sovereign, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerritt, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Your Ladyship, Justice Victoria Clark, Charles Clark, Resident George, and Mr. Clark, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, Minister of Justice, Immigration, and National Security, other honorable members of Cabinet, Your Excellencies, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, His Excellency Steve Farrell, Secretary to the Cabinet, Ms. Joanne Commodore, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, Immigration, and National Security, members of the Judiciary and Magistracy, Ms. Evelina Baptiste, Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Daniel Carbon, Chief of Police, and Mrs. Carbon, Mr. Claude Weeks, Assistant Superintendent of Police and Chief Instructor, former Commissioners and Deputy Commissioners of Police, fellow gazetted officers and other ranks of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, Band Sergeant and members of the Government Band, Monsignor William John Rees, graduates, other guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Chief of Police, other gazetted officers, and the rank and file of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, allow me to welcome you to the grounds of the Windsor Park Sports Stadium to witness the 32nd Recruit Graduation and Passing Out Parade. The pleasure is mine to welcome each one of you as Deputy Chief of Police acting to this truly momentous occasion. This is a grand occasion for all of us, but more so for the young police officers who are graduating here today. Today marks the end of the initial entry training for their service into the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. And I can tell you, they have longed for. It will be etched in the memories of the members of Course 33. Today, the new entrants will be formally recognized as trained members of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. And indeed, the day that they will enjoy. It is a day for joy. It's a day for joy for all of you who have been invited here this afternoon, family and friends of the graduates. I know you're excited to be here, to witness this important event, and to be of support to your loved ones. You are imbued this afternoon with the feeling of satisfaction and a sense of achievement for those on parade today. Indeed, your support means a lot to them. On the 4th of May this year, the 26 young officers standing on parade today were enrolled into this noble institution, the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. They took an oath to protect and serve the government and people of the Commonwealth of Dominica without fear, favor, malice, or ill will. This mandate they pledge to execute on a daily basis. They have endured 19 weeks of rigorous training. This training was adequately structured to provide the new officers with the required skill and knowledge which will enable them to perform the tasks at the various sections and departments where they will be assigned. I am truly grateful for all of you graduates, for you who have presented yourselves to the call of duty to serve your country in the capacity of police officers. I am confident that you will serve with commitment and pride. Our mission statement of the police, I quote, to protect and serve, ensuring the safety and security of all, unquote. This statement should inspire you to work hard and do your best. As I conclude, let me urge you to take your work seriously. Do the best no matter what the task. Be proud of your organization. Be proud of the police force. Be eager to learn and be careful always to follow the laws and execute your function as law enforcement officers. Congratulations to all of you. And congratulations to those trainers and to all other officers who gave their unwavering support to make this afternoon ceremony possible. I thank you and welcome. At this time, I would like to introduce the Chief Instructor, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Claude Weeks, who is going to give you an overview of what the course entailed and what the 19 weeks have done in molding and shaping the new entrants for their new life. Assistant Superintendent Claude Weeks has been an instructor at the police training school for about 10 years. He having come from that background. However, he was relocated, and is now back at the training school. He is also a former prosecutor and is currently the officer in charge of the general section of the police force. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Assistant Superintendent Claude Weeks.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the staff and students of the Police Training School, let me once again welcome you to the 33rd Recruits Course Graduation Ceremony. First of all, I give thanks to Almighty God for His boundless reservoir of inexhaustible grace and mercies to enable us to accomplish this task under trying circumstances. As the chief instructor of the police training school, having been called by Chief Carbon to undergo this huge task, given the total destruction of the facility at Montrose, it is indeed an honor and privilege for me to report to you on the performance of the 31st Recruits course held here right now at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. The police training school, just a background history, was established over 50 years ago in 1968, when the first course, comprising of 8 recruits, started their initial training right here in Dominica. To date, this is the 33rd recruits course graduating from this institution. From the inception of the recruits training at the police training school at Montrose in 1968, recruits training has been traditionally conducted over a period of 6 months. However, given the ferocious and merciless onslaught of Hurricane Maria on our beautiful island and the shortage of manpower, the course had to be truncated for 4 months. In the month of May, in light of the significant number of vacancies which existed within the police organization and the urgent need to increase the human resource base of the police force, I was mandated by the Chief of Police, Mr. Daniel Carbon, to develop and submit a 4 months training syllabus in an effort to prepare the recruits in a shorter period of time. It was a tough call, but by the wisdom of God, the training team, answered to the call and were able to deliver the goods. Over the years, there has been a seismic shift and new dimensions in the changing global security environment and policing in general. And so to keep abreast with these changes, the training syllabus at the police training school had to be shaped to include sociology, psychology, human rights, health and tourism, criminal court procedure, and an array of new and amended pieces of legislation, including the 2011 Firearms Act of 2011, which was replaced by Chapter 1501 of the Laws of Dominica, and more recently Act 9 of 2016, the Sexual Offences Amendment Act. Hence, an intense and robust 4 months syllabus was put together by the training team. This 4-month compact residential course commenced on the 4th of May 2018, 7 months after the unforgettable passage of Maria, with a total of 26 male recruits. They came from diverse backgrounds with different expectations. The 4 cardinal points are represented here today. This course was designed to provide police recruits with the necessary skills and knowledge required to discharge their duties as police officers, build self-confidence and the ability to deal with the general public, instill discipline and enhance their standard of physical fitness, provide a strong understanding of the role of the police in our society, mold the recruits into a cohesive group, and to instill in them the qualities of character and values necessary for good police work. The main objective of the course is to produce confident, efficient, and professional police officers who will deliver quality, effective services to the public. The course was delivered by way of lectures and tutorials supported by teaching aids, group work, problem-solving exercises, role-play scenarios, discussions, demonstrations, and practice. Ladies and gentlemen, these 26 recruits standing here before you today have successfully survived a grueling 4 months of training, and for that, they should be proud. On the arrival at this institution on the 4th of May 2018, their body language indicated that they may have erred in choosing to be police officers. They all bundled up together like little coward chickens, hoping that their mother would be back soon to comfort them. Of course, as I report this afternoon, the evidence is clear that no mother would have appeared, and they were left in the hands of some hard, uncompromising caretakers, namely the training team. They were welcomed by the chief instructor, and as is customary, they were informed that their rights and privileges were immediately abrogated. They were suspended. However, they were encouraged to fervently pray and to have praise and worship service every Sunday, which they did. Truly, they needed divine intervention to survive this grueling 4 months program. They were then awakened to the reality of recruits training, and as usual, the crying, the pain, and the groaning started. One could have deemed the dormitory a maternity ward at the police training school. Indeed, there was crying and groaning and moaning. The training days were long and intense, oftentimes extended from 4:45 a.m. to 7 p.m. or later, with meal breaks in between. I must hasten to let you know the training program was held in 3 areas, namely the conference room at police headquarters, the Coast Guard base, which was initially used for the drills rehearsal, and certain areas at Monbrose and other areas for practical exercises. Because of the intensity of the program, some students sustained minor injuries but quickly recovered, as they were not allowed to miss too many sessions. It is often said that all work and no play make Jack a dull boy, and so throughout the course they were allowed some time off. During the last 4 months, the recruits completed several training modules in both theoretical and practical skills, to include police administration, police duty subjects, crime, vehicle and traffic investigations, court processes, and criminal law procedures, observation skills, beat duties, communication skills, self-defense, arms and foot drills, firearms training, first aid, sociology, psychology, human rights, inter alia, among others. We were graced with the presence of several eminently qualified visiting lecturers during the course from various departments, the public sector as it were, who delivered quality and timely lectures to the police recruits. At the police training school, students are always encouraged to strive for excellence. For this reason, the pass mark for the school is set at 70% and has been maintained. Throughout the course, students completed a number of written and practical tests and examinations on the modules delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, this recruits course culminates today with this graduation ceremony to which you have been invited. The 26 police recruits standing before you this afternoon endured to the end, and we commend them for their efforts. I was very impressed with their level of tenacity, determination, and motivation throughout the program. Be motivated. Be motivated. Feel the sweat. Ha! Determination. Thank you very much. You're well motivated. Put your hands together for them. We may have disturbed you quite a bit as we did our physical training around Roseau and environs and to the furthest point, St. Joseph, 2 weeks ago. Generally, their conduct, deportment, and attitude were commendable, and collectively they maintain a high level of discipline throughout the program. I'm pleased to report that on aggregate, the course has recorded 93% pass rate, with individual averages ranging from 70 to 87.69%. Hence, an overall course average of 80%. This, in my assessment, indeed is very commendable and worthy of note. The closeness of the scores is indicative of the level of competition that was evident throughout the course, thus ensuring that no one student dominated. Out of the possible 1,700 points at stake, the top student obtained the highest aggregate of 1,500.21 points with an overall average of 88.24%. The first runner-up closely followed with an aggregate of 1,435.64 points with an overall average of 84.45%. To the graduating class, let me encourage you as chief instructor to continue to strive for excellence as you join and integrate into the ranks of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force. To be brutally candid, the learning process has just begun. You need to cultivate a burning, undying passion for policing and not just regard it as a monthly pay job. You are joining at a time when much more is demanded from the police. You will face countless challenges and will be called upon to make tough decisions as police officers. Of course, may I hasten to say, those decisions must be made within the parameters of the law, within the land. Let me remind you to be confident, be firm, be assertive, be fearless, and be courteous. Be true to the oath of office that you took to execute your functions without fear or favor or affection, malice or ill will, and to discharge these functions according to law. In the performance of your duties, I urge you to respect and protect the human dignity and maintain and uphold the human rights of the people, regardless of their background or affiliations. Please remember these human rights are enshrined in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The level of discipline you exhibited on this course must be maintained throughout in all your endeavors. Recognize the need to improve your knowledge and skills. Read, research, ask questions. And let me exhort you further by citing a quotation from August Vollmer, a former chief of police of Berkeley in the United States. And I quote, "The citizen expects police officers to have the wisdom of Solomon, the courage of David, the strength of Samson, the patience of Job, the leadership of Moses, the kindness of the Good Samaritan, the strategical training of Alexander, the faith of Daniel, the diplomacy of Lincoln, the tolerance of the carpenter of Nazareth, and finally, an intimate knowledge of every branch of the natural, biological, and social sciences." If he had all of these, he said, he might be a good policeman. If you have all of these, you too might be a good policeman. Above all, put the Lord Jesus Christ in the center of your life. Matthew chapter 6:33 reminds us, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." Graduating class, without God, no matter who you are, or where you come from, or what your connections are, or who you roll in with, the truth is, we are nothing without God. I encourage you to hold on to the hands of God as you deliver qualitative service to the people of Dominica. Finally, let me take this opportunity to thank all those in one way or another who contributed to the success of this course. I acknowledge my fellow instructors, namely Corporals Lyndon, Timothy, Dawson, Robin, Petrina Dupini, and Alvin Gatchet, the latter, who is on official duty in Barbados, a drills course to be precise. I thank these members of the training team for their commitment, dedication, and devotion to duty, and for a job well done. I recognize the auxiliary instructors, Inspector Jerome Banis for physical training, and Corporal Urias Moses for self-defense, Sergeant Murphy John Jules and Corporal Engelbert Defoe for weapons training, and Special Constable Anthony James, our driver, Miss Tesha Coffey, the psychology teacher, and Mr. Edward Lawrence, sociology teacher, all the visiting lecturers, the cooks, the commander, and members of the special service unit, and of course, it would be remiss of me not mentioning the chief of police and the police administration and his staff, all those in one way or the other who supported this program to bring it to reality. Indeed, it would be remiss of me, particularly for our instructors. I take this opportunity to thank our loved ones for their support and for allowing us to spend so many hours away from them without complaining. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure, and I'm indeed honored to present to you Recruit Course number 33. Thank you, and God bless you.
Good afternoon. It is indeed a privilege for me as the Chief of Police to address you on the occasion of the 33rd Recruits Course graduation and passing out parade. I must say that your journey to this stage was not an easy one. I am satisfied that with sacrifice and hard work, we were able to successfully complete the 4 months training program. For this, you must give praise and thanks to God. You must pay reverence to God every day. For with God, all things are possible. Let me from the outset extend my sincere appreciation to the rank and file for their fullest cooperation in making the training program a reality. As you would have heard from the course report, the challenges were present, but you overcame, and for this, I commend you. I know that the knowledge that you have received during the 4 months of training from your instructors and several visiting lecturers will nurture and mold you into a better person. And in fulfilling your day-to-day duties as a police officer as you pursue your career. Policing is a very noble profession. You are joining the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force in an era where the demands of the police are much greater. However, it must be impressed upon you that your mission is to protect and serve, thereby ensuring the safety and security of all. Moreover, in the oath that you have taken, you swore to perform your functions without fear, favor, malice, or ill will. You will, therefore, be required to exhibit that level of discipline and confidence that were instilled in you. Remember to treat everyone respectfully. You must consider yourselves as professionals and perform your duties professionally at all times. Maintain your integrity at all times. You can do that by being satisfied with the salary that you earn. Do not live above your means. Do not envy what people have. If you do, you will be very vulnerable to accepting bribes and working against the interests of bona fide citizens, visitors, the police force, and the state. I appeal to you to stand firm as you exercise your duties as police officers. The duties that you will be called to perform must be done with a sense of purpose, courage, and endurance. We all know that the police cannot perform its duties in isolation of the people we serve. We must work in partnership with the community. Be proud in wearing your uniform. In doing so, walk the streets in uniform. Visit the schools and work in partnership with the teachers, students, and parents teachers association so that all schools on island are safe and secure, thereby ensuring that the environment at the schools is conducive to learning. You must also build strong partnerships with the health team in the communities that you will serve. The farmers and fisher folks are eager to work in with the police. These sectors have a resource base that we, the police, must embrace. You must interact with various youth groups and sports clubs in your communities and in the districts that you will work. This will build very strong bonds between you and them. It will augur well for you as a police officer and by extension, the police force, because you will be accepted as being part of the communities where you will live and also where you work. While performing uniform patrols, visit the pastor and priest, dialogue with them very often. This will build a solid relationship based on trust and confidence in you and the duties that you must perform. The police force must go back to the communities to forge these relationships. I urge you to go out there and make that change that the citizens of our beloved country are demanding from us. On the job, you will come into contact with all types of people, but you must be good examples that others would want to emulate. Be courteous to the people you serve, and most importantly, have respect for authority. You will receive continuous training in various aspects of policing and be provided with the resources you will require to perform your duties. You are responsible to take proper care of the resources provided to you. There are various force qualities that you must adhere to, such as the use and maintenance of vehicles allocated to the police. Finally, I must tell you that in order to have a successful career, you must take care of your health. You ought to learn the job and learn quickly. In these contemporary times, the security of this beautiful island state is threatened by major natural disasters, criminal activities to include organized crimes, illicit drug and firearms trafficking, and also political upheavals supported by hooliganism, just to name a few. Through all this, you must devote all your time to serve the government and people of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Stay focused and abhor political rhetoric. I want to congratulate you on your passing out this afternoon and wish you success in your career. It was President Obama who stated, and I quote, "If you work hard and meet your responsibilities, you can get ahead no matter where you come from, who you look like, or whom you love." End quote. I thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Now, we present to you the person who will do the feature address this afternoon. A man who ensures over time and time again, he has been unhesitant in providing financial means for the police force to meet the obligations and the challenges that the police force is constantly confronted with. A man who has confidence in the police. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica and Minister with responsibility for finance, investment, housing, and land. The Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit.
Thank you very much. I will leave the feature address to the Minister for National Security. But I'm happy to be here this afternoon, and I wish to recognize our President, Your Excellency Charles Savre and Mrs. Savre. Your Ladyship, Justice Victoria Charles Clark, Resident Judge, and Mr. Clark. My colleague, Honorable Raymond Blackmore, Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security. My other cabinet colleagues present, Your Excellencies and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Ms. Joan Commodore, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Immigration and National Security, other Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Ian Monroe, Chairman of the Police Service Commission and other commissioners, Ms. Evelina Baptist, Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Daniel Carbon, Chief of Police and Mrs. Carbon, Mr. Davidson Valerie, Deputy Chief of Police, Monsignor William Johnwis, graduates, other invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the media, good evening. I want to first of all thank the Chief of Police for inviting me to this personal parade, and also to express congratulations to the young men for the successful completion of their training course. On behalf of the people of Dominica and the government of Dominica, I want to thank you for coming forward to serve your fellow men and fellow women. And to say to you that the country, our country look forward to your service and the dutiful execution of your service. You have taken an oath and you will take an oath, and therefore you must treat this oath very seriously and to carry out your duties without affection or ill will and without fear or favor. I want to say to you that the police force has the full backing of myself as Prime Minister. We shall continue to provide the police with all the resources it requires to execute its legal functions. And I want to say, as I've indicated to the Chief of Police, that we are putting plans in place for the construction of the new police headquarters, and also to provide better and more adequate residences for the police officers who reside in Rosa. Clearly, that which you have now is certainly unacceptable. I want to also say to the police, as I've said to you many times, that I am personally concerned about the health of the police force. We have to be mindful of the ever-presence of CNCDs, communicable, non-communicable diseases in our country. And therefore, it's important for us in the police force to not only engage in training for the recruits, or exercise for the recruits. Everyone, from the Chief of Police down, must engage from time to time in physical exercise, because that can have a serious impact, if we are not mindful of this, CNCDs, on the police force. As you're aware, the Cabinet took a decision to increase the police force by 100 additional officers. I urge the Chief of Police to proceed post haste with the recruitment of these 100 additional police officers to be at the service of the people of Dominica. The Minister of Finance has made the resources available to allow this to happen, in quick time. I want to say to the Chief of Police publicly that he has my confidence as Prime Minister. I want to say to the police that you have my confidence as Prime Minister. But clearly there are some things you need to do for yourself, by yourself, and no one else can do for you. Clearly that there are some, though a small group, who are not displaying exemplary behavior in the public and otherwise. I want to say to you that your duty is to protect the state and all of us who reside in the state, irrespective of who we are and what our station in life is. Because your failure to protect us, you are also exposing yourselves to that very same threat, and your families to that very same threat. And the question is, what would happen to you when you're no longer a police officer and you're not retired? What kind of Dominica you would like to see? Do you want to see a peaceful Dominica, where we can go to the beaches and the hot springs as we wish at any time of day or night? That is what we want to see in Dominica. And therefore, your responsibility must be taken with great seriousness. You cannot exercise your duties based on who it is or what the person is. You have certainly to carry out your mandate in law. You are not above the law. None of us is above the law. And therefore we have to carry out our duties in that regard. You only have authority given to you by acts of parliament. Police officers cannot create laws. They are to carry out the laws instituted by the parliament of our country. And therefore it must be done blindly, because our laws have no color, it has no creed. It has to be carried out with the dutiful nature that the police force requires. And I want to say to the country that each of us has a responsibility to our country's security. The police has its role to play. But if we do not assist the police in carrying its duty, if we know of things that are happening in our neighborhood, if we have seen a crime being commissioned and we say nothing in providing the evidence and information to the police, it makes it difficult or impossible for the police to solve these crimes. Because crime is a societal problem, and therefore it will require the entire society to fight crime in our country. And we have to be tough on the police, and we shall continue to be tough on the police. But every one of us in Dominica must be tough on ourselves, and we must ask ourselves, are we making a contribution to the security and the safety of our nation? It cannot be the police alone. And we have to recognize that the world is changing. And criminal activities in the world, Dominica included, will also change. The criminals have access to resources and technology, and they'll employ those. And therefore, our training and our access to technology must also be ahead of the criminals. And I want all of us in this country not to make a big commotion when somebody gets shot only, and then when the time passes by, we go back to our merry way. We must always stand in condemnation of drug trafficking in our country and the selling of drugs to our young people in Dominica. And too many of us are quiet and silent about these things in our society. And then we shout when somebody gets shot, and that person gets shot because of drug trafficking related issues. And we blame the police, as if the police is supposed to be in every home and every street and every corner in Dominica. It's impossible. But we know of some of the things in our society, and we remain quiet. And some of us glorify it. We glorify it. And when the police is carrying its duty, we say it is police brutality. We have to give the police the opportunity to carry this function. And I'm not here to defend the police, I'm here to defend the security of our country. And to call on all of us in our society, irrespective of your station in life, that you have an equal responsibility to secure the country. And crime is a societal problem, and therefore it requires all of us. And I want to see our leaders in this country stand publicly, irrespective of which station in life you're in, and condemn the presence of violence, the presence of drug trafficking in our country. And I think once we start speaking honestly and transparently about these things, we will also see a corresponding decrease in criminal activity in our country. But sometimes you get the feeling that there's some in our society which support these things. Whether you are, whatever position you hold in this country, you're not above the law. And if you break the law, you are expected to be taken before the courts by the police. It is simple as this. And until we understand these things and accept these things, we're going to have a problem. I want to say to the Chief of Police that you have been provided with millions of dollars worth of assets. My understanding from you that you have too many vehicles at your disposal. That some are hidden away packed because you're saving them for the rainy day. I want to say to you, while the Minister of Finance is committed to providing all of the resources required, let us treat the state assets properly, because these vehicles are expensive. They're very expensive. And if a vehicle costs 200,000 and you have 10, you can tell me how much money that is, so that's for 10 vehicles. So it's not cheap money. Plus insurance and maintenance of these vehicles. So I want us to respect this, because recognize if we mash it up, we are denying ourselves the ability of the government to get resources to fix our roads that we complain about and to provide a better way of life for our citizens. But I want to commend you, the young men who are graduating today, and to say to you that you have chosen a noble profession. It is left to you to make the best use of it and to stick to the rule of law and to carry out your duties without fear, affection, ill will. And you must not share with people who ought not to be shared with confidential information. Because if you share confidential information with people who shouldn't have it, you are placing your comrades in harm's way, and also yourself in harm's way. There's information that will be shared with you, it must be kept by yourself, to yourself, in the execution of your duties. So I wish you all the best, sincerely, all the best, and to thank you for your willingness to serve yourself and our fellow country people. I wish you God's blessings, and rest assured that this government, which I have the honor to lead, will continue to provide the resources required to the police in the execution of its duties. May God bless you, and may God bless Dominica. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Firstly, let me commend the Chief of Police and all the ranks of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, the Chief Instructor, Claude Weeks, and members of staff of the Police Training School for formulating this very impressive program which has prepared 26 young men for the field of policing. Permit me further to congratulate and salute you, all of you, 26 recruits, for taking a bold and brave step to serve this beautiful country, Dominica. I say bold and brave step because you have taken a decision to enlist in the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force and take your oath to serve and protect our beautiful country without fear and favor. You have done so at the most challenging moment in the history of Dominica, where we're building after the most devastating hurricane this country has ever seen. And you have done so at a time when the political divide is getting wider and wider. At a time when persons who are supposed to be voices of reason on fundamental national issues are in retreat. At a time when the cross-fertilization of crime is on an incline. I say so because persons who traffic in illegal drugs also traffic in illegal firearms and also involved in financial crimes, mainly money laundering and others. You have done so at a time when we seem to be less tolerant of each other, and sometimes we think it is okay to solve our problems with guns. Yes, you have enlisted in this wonderful organization, the best, the Dominica Police Force. When many in our mix believe making fast money is better than earning it in the way our mothers and fathers earned it, in the most dignified way, sweat, hard work. Graduating class, those issues I referenced are going to impact in a negative way on crime and the national security front. In short, therefore, your work is not going to be easy. If you're going to make a difference, you must therefore draw from the training that we have received over the past 4 months. I want to give you the assurance we heard just now from our Prime Minister that this government will continue to strengthen and enhance policing capacity with the view of reducing crime and violence, thereby maintaining a safe and secure environment in Dominica. Over the years, the police force has been provided by this administration with all the resources needed. Let me say it again for emphasis. Over the years, the police force has been provided with all the resources needed by this administration. We are at a historic high insofar as vehicles are concerned in the police force. You heard just now from the Prime Minister. The design for a new training school building in Montrose is completed. And I want to report to you $1 million has been set aside in this year's financial cycle for the construction of a new police training school building. The design for a new structure adjacent to the current police headquarters building to house 200 police officers has been finalized. Works are currently ongoing on all the police stations that were damaged by Hurricane David, Maria, sorry. How old was I during David? And except for one police station, the Mao police station, which I've been advised, the structure and integrity has been so compromised, and therefore a new building may be required. I want to also report that the Marigot police station is now fully covered. Recently, Cabinet took the decision to increase the strength of the police force by 100. And today's passing out of 26 young, strong, healthy male police officers signals the first step towards achieving that very important goal. We're hoping almost immediately to commence training for an additional number of police officers. I hope this time we're going to include some women officers. A decision was also taken to increase the rank structure as follows. 1, an assistant commissioner of police, and I want to also inform you that the relevant legislative amendment was made to give effect to that position. And the recommendation is therefore has been transmitted, have been advised for action by the relevant authority as per the laws of this country. 2 additional inspectors will be created, 14 sergeants, 6 corporals, and I'm sure a number of you who were here, the instructors, must be smiling. So you see, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, friends all, that this government has never removed its eyes on the police. In return, therefore, we want the police to keep their eyes on the general public. And you can do so by 1, by ensuring that the public is kept safe. And the most practical ways to do so, 1 is by assuming a proactive mood, by patrolling, responding to complaints and report promptly and well, and investigating reports with the highest degree of efficiency and diligence. I want to say to you, graduating class, that you have made the right decision. I still believe that this great institution, the Police Force of Dominica, is the best in the Caribbean. We have challenges, but I think you are the best. You can make yourself better by being professionals and honoring in its entirety the oath you have taken to serve this beautiful country. I want to say, finally, that in due time, the government shall be engaging a police advisor. The terms of reference have been finalized, and we're hoping, as we move forward, to make the police force more responsive to the needs of the public, we can relaunch an effective community policing program. Because the only way the police can be effective, that sense of suspicion that exists between the police and the public must be dealt with frontally. And the most effective way to do so is to embark on a comprehensive, responsive community policing program. I wish you well, and may the Lord continue to bless you, and God bless this wonderful country, Dominica.
Number 107, Constable Oswald Shillingford for Best at Drills. Best at Self-Defense, the person who copped that prize, number 3, Constable Edmund Dellon Williams. Best at Physical Training, number 83, Constable Nilsson Valmon. the person who topped the class in relation to firearms training, no other than 372 Constable Kelson Ronald James. Best shot. Best turned out student this afternoon is number 83, Constable Nelson Valmont. Best turned out student. Overall, in terms of weapons training for the program, and the best at weapons training, person who copped that prize as well, number 372, Constable Kelson Ronald James. Throughout that period, Constable 251, Kenson Wilshire, best at police duty subjects. First runner for the program, May 4th to September the 5th, none other than 291, Constable Clifford Jonathan Telemack, first runner. Put your hands together for Constable Telemack. Best recruit overall, from 1,700 points, he achieved 1,500.2 points with an average of 88.24. Is none other than 251 Constable Kenson Wilshire. Our best recruit, cost number 33. The student who copped overall his department general attitude right throughout the course, consistency, number 83, Constable Nelson Valmont has copped the Commissioner Shield for the most disciplined student. The prestigious award, the Baton of Honor. Every student works hard to achieve this award. And overall general performance, consistency, obedience, if you like, the whole works, to put it simply. And the person who copped this prize, number 251, Constable Kenson Wilshire, has achieved the Baton of Honor. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and make him feel welcome as he comes to collect this prestigious award.